Spain's problem is really different from the other peripheral countries because it comes into the crisis with, its government accounts looked pretty good because it did its homework before Maastricht. The problem with Spain is that it's got a very rigid labor market, and it didn't reform it in the good years. There's a tendency in Spain for when the economy is going well, what happens is that companies hire. Spain becomes Europe's job machine because they hire a lot of people, but they're all temporary because the permanent contract can cost up to 45 days per year worked to dismiss a worker. So when crisis hits, what companies do is lay off as many temporary workers as they possibly can, and Spain becomes Europe's job destroyer. And that's since the last government didn't do much to sort of stem that. Unemployment went way up, and the crisis here has been prolonged deeper than in other countries, and this has affected government accounts.
But is Mariano Rajoy the right man to actually take on the tough reforms? We still don't really have a clear indication. We know that he's pro-European, that he wants to take the difficult measures, but we don't actually know what is in the economic plan.
That's right. We don't know. We don't know really who he is, in the sense that he hasn't been in office before. We suspect he's a good manager. We suspect that's why he's there. The thing that really encourages me today is that in the debates, he did say, we need austerity, we need reforms. He didn't say exactly what he was doing, but whenever asked, he didn't paint a very pretty picture. And he got an overwhelming mandate from the Spanish people. So my feeling is that Spain is ready. They've accepted what they've got to do, and they're going to go for it. And this country has once they decide on something, they move pretty fast. So I think they'll get behind him. He talked about reforming the different levels of government. There's a lot of duplication of effort. He talked about reforming that. He can save a lot of money by doing that. He talked about labor market reform. So I think if he gets the ball rolling quickly, we could see a lot of change here.
But how fast can they actually act? You were talking about these, huge structural reforms needed on the employment, but also in terms of the housing bubble. This is usually things that take 1, 2, 3 years down the line, and it seems like the markets are just not giving Spain that much time.
That's right. I think what would be the ideal scenario would be for Mr. Rajoy this week to be able to announce his government and to be able to announce his measures. And I think if the markets see that he's got a powerful mandate behind him and that he's got a credible program, which we're all crossing our fingers and hope he will have, he's got a good team, I think the markets would let up a bit on Spain. That's my hope, because, like I said, fiscally, Spain doesn't look so bad. It's not a debt that's anywhere near the size as a percent of GDP of Greece's or Ireland's or Italy's or Portugal's or the United States. So if they got the measures in place and started moving in that direction, I think the markets would give them some breathing space.
All right, thank you so much for your time this morning, Gayle Allard there.